And welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us. Frank Tomaino is our guest. Frank continues to write his history column at the OD. He is the author of History Just for the Fun of It, very active member at the United County History Center. We were talking about World War II. Frank, you were in the service in the Air Force during Korea. They say that was, what do they call that, the Forgotten War?
Well, yeah, it was the Korean, some don't even call it a war, the Korean conflict, but many American boys were, killed. I was never in combat.
Yeah.
I was in the Air Force. I was in military air transport.
You're a mechanic, right?
Senior aircraft engine mechanic.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And I was stationed at Westover in Massachusetts most of the time.
The numbers of people, I remember once I looked at the number of soldiers from our area that died in the, I can't remember what the number is now, but that died during the Civil War. Tremendous numbers of casualties.
Well, from Oneida County.
Yeah.
When I was writing about the Civil War in my column, going back 150 years, I had it was more than 1,000 and thousands wounded, and missing in action. There are many soldiers that just disappeared.
Yeah.
Some deserted, but some just disappeared, and everybody lost track of them. But there were just about every community had, but not only killed in action, but wounded, losing arms and legs. The way they had surgery in those days. They said it was not unusual during the Civil War to walk up and down Genesee Street, and you see many boys back from with no arms, no legs.
Yeah.
It was
I just
terrible.
did a segment for Hidden History for WUTR, which airs during the 6 o'clock news on Mondays.
Monday, yep.
And the segment was on Dr. Mary Walker.
Oh, yeah.
Does that ring a bell?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Well, she spent a little time in Rome, but yeah, she was a surgeon
Yeah.
during the Civil War, and earned the Medal of Honor during the Civil
right.
War. And it must have been in the 1880s or something. Congress got a bug in its ear that many of those Medal of Honors during the Civil War were just given out, and for some reason they picked her. She refused to give that Medal of Honor back, and she said, "No way! I earned it, and I'm going to keep it." And I understand for the rest of her life. I think she was from the Oswego area.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
For the rest of her life, she wore that. She wore that
And it
Medal
was
of Honor.
they did and I think what year it was, 1911 maybe, something like that. They restored it.
You're right. Yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot that. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. They did restore it. Yeah, but why they took some of those Medal of Honors? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The talking about the Civil War for a second more, from our area, it was really Boonville played a part.
Oh, the 97th.
Conkling, yeah.
Sure, the 97th Regiment, the Conkling Rifles.
Yeah.
It was the 3rd Oneida. I guess Oneida County had 5 regiments. Of course, you had boys serving in other regiments, but from Oneida County, there was Oneida 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. The Boonville one was the 3rd, as you know, I'm sure. And I believe, and they fought at Gettysburg, of course. And I don't know if you've ever been there, but the last time I was at Gettysburg, there is a monument there to the 97th. Yeah.
In fact, I think they raised some money not too long ago because that monument was in need of restoration, and they did some work on it. What was the connection, Frank, between Utica? We know what the connection was, Roscoe Conkling in Utica, but what was the connection with Boonville? Was it just...
What do you mean, Conkling with Boonville,
Yeah.
or Utica with
Well,
Boonville?
Conkling.
Well, Conkling was the congressman at that time, and they just decided to name it after him. I forget, he was our, because I think it was formed in 1863 in Boonville. 1862, I think they started to come in, and many of the boys were from Lewis County. It wasn't only Oneida County, and I'm forgetting now. I know Conkling was the. There was something he did. Why they named it after the Conkling Rifles.
When I think of Civil War, when I think of drafts, I think of what happened at Mechanics Hall, which is still standing. The building still stands. Of course, the roof there was a fire, so the roof isn't the same as it once was.
Right,
But
yeah.
they had a lottery drawing.
For the draft.
Yeah.
It was the first time, I think since the Revolutionary War, where they drafted boys. But President Lincoln had a problem in 1863. The young men were no longer volunteering. When the war started in 1861, first of all, many northern young boys thought, well, this is going to be, we'll defeat the South in 3 weeks, and well, it didn't happen that way. But as the volunteers, but by 1863, the Union Army needed more men. Lincoln said, we've got to draft them. So that was the first draft held in Utica. It was held at Mechanics Hall, and I guess I think they went by each town in the county. So I think the first man drawn was from Ava or, no, I'm thinking, what's the other county up there? Ava, not Augusta. Anyway.
Yeah.
And what's funny, well, not really funny, but what they did to make sure there was no hanky-panky, the man that was supposed to pick the names out of the hat who were going to go into service, he was blind, but they blindfolded him anyway, just to make double sure. And Ansville, the first man was from Ansville.
Okay.
And then they went down, I forget how many hundreds of men.
There's a famous picture, it's at the United County History Center, and it shows a crowd of men
It was a big
outside
crowd.
that building.
Yeah, it was a big event. It was a big event, and I believe the man picking out of the hat was on the second or third floor at the window, and you could see him there. And I don't know if you could see the blindfold. But,
Okay.
yeah.
Frank Tomaino's our guest. We're talking local history. Short break, right back.